stories about what happened.
It's true. All of it.
Hey guys, Brian from the Star Wars Canon Library here, and you heard the man, there were stories, and they're all true. Guys, welcome to the new year of Star Wars Canon. It is 2018, finally. I know this is the first video I've put out in literally a month, and I do apologize for that. I've been really busy with a lot of things going on between being sick and then the holidays came up and got sick again, got over that, went to Arkansas for a family wedding, and then it's been hectic. And now, if you haven't figured it out, Kirsty and I have moved. So that has taken up the last week of my time also. So, yeah, guys, it's been crazy. I'm so sorry I haven't posted a video recently, but we're going to remedy that. So this is how we are going to kick off the Canon Library for 2018 with a Monday mailbag, guys. We're going to be answering your questions that you guys have sent in. And in case you guys are wondering, if you're wanting to get a question on the Canon Library, all you have to do is email it to me at starwarscanonlibrary@gmail.com. I'll go through and pick out some that are maybe more relevant than others, not necessarily, maybe some things we've never touched on before, stuff like that. So if you guys want to get a question on, just simply send it there. But without further ado, let's just jump right into this. I think I've got 7 of them tonight that we're going to go through. And here we go. Let's just start right at the top with Joshua Ringer. I think I said your name right. I always say that at least once or twice during these videos. But Joshua says, I know you said before you thought the trailer for Han Solo would be attached to The Last Jedi. I thought so too. Apparently we were wrong. When do you think it will drop? Excellent question, Josh. From everything I've heard, it's going to be like in the next week or two. Actually, at first I was one of those people that was like, just calm down, it's coming. Don't worry, they said it's coming, it's coming. But even now I'm starting to go, they said it was coming out, where is it? So hopefully it's coming very, very soon. I know a lot of people are saying Super Bowl. I don't think it's going to be the Super Bowl. That's still another month away, and I mean, it's going to be, see, the Super Bowl isn't on ESPN this year, so Disney doesn't own the network that it's going to be playing on. It's going to be out before then. We're going to see it in the next week. We're going to. I don't know why everybody, I mean, I get why people are losing their minds, but I don't know why people are like going ballistic over it. And all these doomsday sayers saying how that means the movie's bad. Just because the trailer's not out doesn't mean the movie's bad, all right? And how they're going to push it back to December. I promise you they're going to stick with that May release date. They would have moved it by now. We're 4 months away from this movie, less than 4 months away from this movie. They would have said something about moving it by now. So it is coming, and as soon as it does, we're going to be having a reaction video up for it. But I'm going to make a prediction right now, and I'm going to put it out there for the world to know if I'm right or if I'm wrong. Okay, so what, I'm wrong. But if I'm right, I'm right. I guarantee you, no matter how good this trailer is, people are still going to talk crap on the movie. A movie we haven't even seen anything of yet. Now granted, they did come out with a few images of some things, mainly Lego sets, that have been released. And I will say this much. Look, I've always been one of these guys that we haven't seen anything from the movie yet. Don't freak out. It's fine. Okay? Be optimistic. It's going to be all right. And then, here, I'm going to bring it up for you. This Lego set, before I bring it up, this could be a spoiler. In case you guys don't want to know, this is your spoiler warning just for this picture. I'm giving you guys plenty of a heads up here. I'm not one that likes to drop spoilers. So this is going to be a spoiler picture if you guys haven't seen it yet. So you have been warned. All right, so here we go. This picture right here of the Lego set for the Kessel Run Millennium Falcon. And you know something? I'm all for. Look. This Han Solo movie is going to be a prequel. So was Rogue One. Rogue One was a prequel, depending on which era you're looking at, like classic trilogy. It's a prequel to the classic trilogy. It is. When you tell prequel stories, you have to put a certain amount of familiar in it so that they're still, of the same bloodline, but at the same time, you have to change some things here and there. And there's certain things about this picture, about this new Falcon that I'm not a fan of, like, I know it says it's the Kessel Run Millennium Falcon. I get that. That's probably what the Falcon looked like before Han got his hands on it. All right, I get that, because it makes a lot of sense now when Lando sees Han in Empire and he's like, what have you done to my ship? And Han's like, your ship? Hey, you lost it to me fair and square. So if it looked like that when Lando saw it, it had to have looked prettier when he lost it. So at first glance, I looked at it, and I was even telling Kirsty, like, I'm just like, I can't believe they did that to my Millennium Falcon, to my Millennium Falcon. Like, obviously the nose is different and the dish is different. The paint scheme's off. Well, it's not off, it's new. But then, you've got, like, instead of the quad turrets on the top, the quad laser cannons, it's got, like, one giant cannon out of the top of it. We'll see. It says Kessel Run Millennium Falcon on it. So I'm assuming this is what the Falcon looked like when it made the Kessel Run. That's pretty obvious at this point. But I'm hoping, and this is probably what's going to happen. I'm probably going to see the movie, see that Falcon, and be like, why the hell would you do that? And then it's going to make total sense in the film. So I'm not that worried about it. But that's just one piece of evidence for what I'm getting ready to say. We haven't seen a whole lot from this movie, and people are already talking crap on it. Now, granted, I'm a little nervous about the Falcon thing, because you guys can't see it, but I've got a poster of blueprints of the Millennium Falcon there, and a little picture there, and I've got my Lego Falcon there, and the Millennium Falcon is my Millennium Falcon, right? So, but anyway, we haven't seen anything of this movie yet. This trailer may come out and be the greatest thing on the face of the planet, and people are still going to talk crap on it. That's my prediction. I guarantee that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to say within the next week, we'll be talking about the Han Solo trailer and kind of breaking it down and what we're gathering from it. So thanks for the question, Joshua. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Question number 2 for tonight comes from Sam Wallace. And Sam says, love your channel. Glad to hear you're coming back from your break. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. My question is, do you think Rian Johnsons' trilogy is in trouble now after the backlash from The Last Jedi? Keep up the great work. No, it's not in trouble at all. Because look, are there a number of fans out there that hated Last Jedi? Yes. Is there a number of crybabies out there who started a petition to have it stricken from canon? Yes, that happened. But Disney is going to have a hard time hearing those cries over the sound of money raining, because that's all Last Jedi is raking in. It's crossed the $1 billion mark, whether y'all like it or not. If you hated the movie, whether you like it or not, the movie is the biggest movie of 2017. It's raking in literally $1 billion. So, no, his trilogy is nowhere near in trouble. I can promise you that. No. It's still happening. I know that, like, I keep seeing these YouTube videos. I'm not watching them. I'm seeing these YouTube videos of people saying, Ryan's trilogy is canceled after Last Jedi, and he'll never work in Hollywood again. And no, he's still gonna have his trilogy. Now, here's another question though to add to that: is his trilogy going to do well box office wise? Because look. Star Wars is Star Wars. There's going to be people that hate it no matter what, right? But because of these people talking so much crap on Last Jedi, these people may not go see the new trilogy, which that's on them. That's totally fair. That's, if they don't want to go see it, nobody's forcing them to go see it. I'm going to go see it. But anyway, it may hurt the box office for it, but I don't think it's going to hurt it that much at all, to be honest. I really don't. So is his trilogy in trouble? No, because Rian Johnson is, he's an amazing writer. He's an amazing director, a very story-driven director, and he's getting an entire trilogy to tell a story he wants to tell. Disney's going to let him do it. Like, you, me, we're not going to stop Disney. They're going to, I shouldn't even call it Disney. It's Lucasfilm still making them. Disney's just writing the checks. They're still going to keep making the movies. This petition of retconning episode 8 and remaking it properly, pushing back episode 9 is not going to happen, whether you guys like it or not. I'm sorry, that's just the harsh truth. So, no, it's not in trouble. I guarantee you that thing is still perfectly on track. Kathleen Kennedy probably couldn't be happier. Bob Iger couldn't be happier. So, it's still coming. Trust me on that. I promise. So, thanks for the question, Sam. Question number 3 this week comes from Cody Metzner. You guys, man, I have such a hard time with names. And Cody asks, what can we expect from the Canon library in the future? And will you ever touch on Legends material? Thank you for what you do. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. What can we expect from the Canon library in the future? I'm setting it up now where right now the only regular show that I'm doing, with an exception of this break I just came off of, is Monday Mailbag. But I'm hoping to some point, for those of you that follow the channel, you know I'm also part of Rome of the Mist Entertainment with Chris Stolley and all them. And me and Chris do Journal of the Jedi, where we talk just Star Wars comics. That's what the show is mainly for. The last few episodes we've talked all Star Wars, but that show is mainly for Star Wars comics, which we don't focus a whole lot on that as far as reviews and stuff go here at the Canon Library, because to review every issue would be kind of like a 30-second video, and by the time the TPBs come out, everybody's pretty much read the issues. So that's where me and Chris can really nerd out and talk Star Wars comics and stuff like that. We're trying to, I'm going do or do not, there is no try. I'm getting that on as a regular show for Canon Library with me and Chris. I'm going to shoot for maybe Wednesdays for that, but I do have another list of stuff, shows that I want to try out on you guys. And if you guys have any suggestions for anything y'all want to see, just let me know in the comment section below, or email it to us at the same email, StarWarsCanonLibrary@gmail.com. Go to the website and let me know there. If you guys have any suggestions at all for anything you want to see, just let me know. And we'll see if I can squeeze it in for you guys. So, but yeah, we do have quite a bit coming. I haven't unpacked my binder yet. We're still unpacking. But I have a list somewhere of different things I was going to start doing as far as editorials go and stuff like that. So keep an eye out. There is more coming. I promise you that. Also, keep in mind this. The job that I work for, the job that I have outside of all of this, I work at a grain elevator in Kansas. So in the middle of Kansas, wheat capital of the country. So wheat harvest, the beginning of June and pretty much through July, May, June, and July, I'm going to be balls to the wall at work, 15-hour days. I don't get a day off until wheat harvest is done. So I literally have no time at all to post anything for the Canon Library. So that's usually, excuse me, that's usually where I take a break from the Canon Library for a couple months, kind of reset a little bit once I get out of wheat harvest, and I can't post anything anyway. I mean, last year, Adam West passed away during my wheat harvest, and I had to sit down and shoot my video for Realm of the Mist in the power room of the grain elevator I work at. I'm sweating, covered in dust. So there's a bit of a gap coming there between May, June, and July, which is, it's going to be a yearly thing. So keep that in mind also. When that time period rolls around, I'm not quitting the library. I'm never going to quit the library. I'm just saying. But I am a lot busier, and I'm not having a chance to get anything out. I will check the Facebook periodically and post once in a while, but that's about it. But there is a list of things that I have that is coming, and I actually can't wait to share that with you guys. So make sure to go follow the Facebook page also, if you guys haven't already. Give me a like there. Also, it's just Star Wars Canon Library, and there's where I keep everybody up to date on everything that is going on. Also, I haven't actually put this out on a YouTube video either, I don't think, but we do have a discussion group also on the Facebook page you guys can go check out, where anybody can be a member, anybody can post anything they want, anything like that, as long as you respect each other's opinions, whether you agree or not, and you're civil and polite. That's the only rules I have for it. So you guys can disagree respectfully, but as soon as people start calling names and going off the deep end and not listening to other people's points of view, that's when things are going to go south. So anyway, yeah, that's what's coming for the Canon Library, which I really didn't even answer your question a whole lot. There is stuff coming, I promise you that. So keep an eye out, Cody. Thanks for being a follower, bud. Question number 4 this week comes from Amanda Ryder. And Amanda asks, do you believe Kylo when he quote-unquote confirms Rey's parents were nobodies? I don't get why Lucasfilm would let it be a total letdown for nothing. What are your thoughts? Yes, I believe Kylo Ren. Well, Kylo is not even the one that told her that. She's the one that said they're nobodies. You look at Force Awakens when Maz is talking to Rey down in the basement of her castle after she has her Force vision, and she's like, you already know the truth. And she's, whoever you're waiting for on Jakku, they're never coming back. And that's when Rey realizes they're not. They're not coming back. Because look, I keep saying this. Everybody thinks somebody brought Rey to Jakku and dropped her there and left. Nobody at all is talking about her already living on Jakku and her parents just leaving her there. That's exact. That I take it at face value. I do. I really do. And I don't get why it's such a letdown for everybody. The only way this could be a letdown is if everybody already had predetermined notions in their head going into Last Jedi about what they were expecting out of the movie. Was I expecting a few things? Yes. But was I disappointed when I was wrong? No. Some people don't know how to be wrong. That's the problem. A lot of people wanted their theories to be correct so they could come back and say, I told you so, and they weren't right. So, I hate Last Jedi. That's bullshit. It really is. But I take it at face value. Rey's parents were nobodies, which is how we don't have not that I know of. If it's out there, let me know, guys. I haven't seen an official interpretation of her Force vision from Last Jedi yet. Of like the several Reys, that she saw in like the reflection thing. I took that as she's just one in a million. She's just like everybody else. That's what I took it as. Some people were like, that means she's a clone. No, she's not a clone. It just means she's just like everybody else. That's what I took that as. So I really do think her parents are nobodies. And the fact that she thought she was nobody the entire trilogy so far, and then at the end when she's talking to Leia and she's like, well, what do we need to do this? This is all we have left. How are we going to build a rebellion from this? And Leia looks at her and she's like, we have all we need. Between those few people, the hope that everybody is, that has still gotten for the resistance. They have a Jedi on their team. There's all these other Force users out there. They're going to start this new breed of Jedi. I think that's when Rey really felt like she actually was somebody finally. Because she even tells Luke, I just want someone to show me my place in all this. Because she didn't know where she belonged. She never knew where she belonged. She was nobody, and she just wanted to belong somewhere. And so I take it at face value. I think her parents were nobodies. I think they're dead somewhere in a pauper's grave, just like Kylo said. So, and don't look at it as a letdown. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Keep an open mind, because there may be somewhere down the road we find out something else. You never know. So, but yes, I'm taking it at face value. I'm not losing my mind. I'm not pissed off she's not a Skywalker. I'm not pissed off she's not a Kenobi. Now the Kenobi one is one bandwagon I did jump on for a while. I did think there was a possibility she could be a Kenobi, but I jumped back off of it pretty quick. But anyway, but to answer your question, in a roundabout way, I guess, yes, I take it at face value. So thanks for the question, Amanda. Question number 5 this week comes from Jeffrey Gibson. And Jeffrey asks, or he sent in, I'm assuming everyone that follows your channel has seen The Last Jedi by now, so I don't think this will be a spoiler. No, at this point, I think everybody has seen it, so we're going to go ahead and, that's why I went and dropped this in. I saw another video where you said Yoda's ghost was your favorite scene in the film. Why? We saw him in all 3 prequels and 2 of the classic films. What makes this one so special? Thanks for the question, Jeffrey. All right. I'm of the generation that grew up with the prequels, right? But that wasn't the first Star Wars I ever saw. I'm in the generation that the prequels should have been my first exposure to Star Wars, but it wasn't. In like 1995 or 96, I think it was 95, my mother showed me Star Wars for the first time. It was on Sci-Fi one night. And I was like 6 or 7 years old. And this was before the prequels. So I was a huge Star Wars fan before the prequels even came out. Because I remember watching episode 1 for the first time, and I was like 10. I was like 10 years old. And even I looked at it and went, this isn't as good as what the other 3 were. So even at 10 years old, I could see that. Now, yes, we did get Yoda in the prequels. It was this... I'm talking about the canon version of Phantom Menace. So I'm not going to bring up that abomination of a puppet they brought in for Phantom Menace in 99. But he was digital in all 3 of those. Digital Yoda. When I was a kid, man, to me, Yoda was that Muppet. That was Yoda to me. And when episode 2 came out and they had the digital Yoda, it never felt like Yoda to me. Like, it sounded like Yoda, But to me, that was a very different Yoda. That was a more grounded, more serious kind of, in a position of power Yoda, of authority power, right? And what I grew up with was the playful Yoda, the one that's laughing all the time, and I mean, you don't hear Yoda laugh at all, actually, in the prequels, now that I think about it. I could be wrong, but I don't think you hear Yoda laugh at all in the prequels. So, to see that playful Yoda again, now, granted, it wasn't the same puppet from Return of the Jedi and Empire. It wasn't. That one rotted years ago. But they made from the same mold. To see, I mean, it was more consistent. It made more sense to have that Yoda there. And granted, Episode 8 is only 2 episodes after Return of the Jedi. If you're watching them chronologically, it's not that big of a gap. But for me, personally, when I was a kid and I saw Star Wars Empire and Jedi for the first time, to me, that was Yoda in Empire and Jedi. That was Yoda to me. And then the prequels come along and I don't get that Yoda again. Force Awakens comes out, I don't get Yoda. Rogue One comes out, Yoda's not in it. To see that version of Yoda again on screen for the first time since I was 7 years old. For the first time since I was 7 years old, right? To see a new scene with that Yoda in it, for me, since I was 7. 22 years, I went with just that dialogue from that puppet Yoda. To see a new scene with him and Luke, and to see it be that puppet again, and to have him written so perfectly, it's just even shot perfectly. Like, you only see him from here up, because he's a Muppet and he's got the cane and he's turning around. It's just, it was just, that is my favorite scene in Last Jedi. And it's not because it was a big flashy action scene and it wasn't this, lightsaber duel, or, it wasn't anything, it wasn't even really like pushing the story along a whole lot, really. It was just, for some reason, that scene in the theater, I almost lost it. Just to see Puppet Yoda again, man, it brought it back to see that playful Yoda where he's laughing and kicking his feet after he lights the tree on fire, and and he's telling Luke, "Oh, young Skywalker, missed you, I have," and and then some of that dialogue that he says in that scene is some of the best Yoda dialogue I've ever heard, ever. I mean, my favorite Yoda quote of all time is in Last Jedi now. It is talking to Luke about failure and, how he said, heed my words, you did not. And it's, pass on what you've learned, your mastery and all this other stuff. And he's like, but also, your mistakes, your follies, your failure. And he's like, failure most of all, and that is some of the wisest advice I've ever heard from Yoda ever. I mean, because I strictly live by do or do not, there is no try, and train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose. Attachment leads to jealousy. Train yourself, that I live by those words. But now we've got another set, because you've got that the train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose from the prequels. You've got the do or do not, there is no try from the classics, and then you've got the sequel trilogy now with this failure is the best teacher thing, and it just. It all flows together so perfectly, and that is Yoda to me. Like, had that been a digital Yoda, that scene wouldn't have had nearly the same weight as it does to me now. I mean, you could have had digital Yoda say the exact same words, and it wouldn't have had as much of an impact on me as it did with the puppet. It's just, call it fan service if you want, because that's exactly what that scene was. That was fan service, but it was directed at me, and that, I ate it up. That was so nostalgic for me. I mean, I had tears streaming down my face in the movie theater watching that, and it's just it hit me so awesomely that it's just that's my favorite one. And yeah, we saw Yoda. Like I said, Yoda in the prequels to me. I mean, yeah, it was Yoda, but it wasn't my Yoda. That's not the one I grew up with. So I hope that answers your question of why that scene meant so much to me, and why it carries the weight it does with me. And it's just, every time I think of Last Jedi, I go back to that scene, and I'm so thankful for that scene, you know, because I've said, like, in my non-spoiler review, that I didn't realize that my soul needed that scene. And I actually walked out thinking with that scene in my head with actual pure joy, you know? So, and it's just, look, everybody has their own things that make them tick. To each their own. And for me personally, that scene did it for me. That scene just, it's really, really good, guys. I love that scene. So I hope that answers your question, Jeffrey. Question number 6 this week is a long one, actually, and there's 2 questions here. This one came from Sean Taylor. And Sean says, hey, love the channel. Always look forward to new videos being posted. Keep it up. Thanks, man. I do appreciate that a lot. He's looking for guidance on 2 subjects. He says, I'm making my way through the new Canon novels. I've read about 8 so far, and the next 2 on my list are Dark Disciple and Ahsoka. Wondering if I'll be lost having never watched either animated series. Are these good standalone stories without having any prior knowledge of or attachment to the main characters? My original plan was to just read the quote-unquote adult novels, but with Lost Stars being so favorably reviewed, my favorite so far, I've decided to also read the 4 current quote-unquote young adult novels as well. Wondering if there are any other essential reads you would strongly recommend in the younger age categories. Thank you so much. Thanks for the 2 questions, Sean. I'm going to go back to the beginning of your question and just work my way through this slowly. All right, so looking for guidance on 2 subjects. You're making your way through the new Canon novels. You've read 8 so far, and the next 2 are Dark Disciple and Ahsoka. Are you going to be lost on those novels having not watched Clone Wars? No, I don't think so. As long as you know the basic history of Ahsoka, you don't have to watch everything. You don't have to watch the series to know what's going on with Ahsoka. As far as Dark Disciple goes, no, you don't have to. Now, Dark Disciple does happen during the Clone Wars, and it's actually written from unaired episodes of Clone Wars. So, you're not going to miss anything. You could pick Dark Disciple up and read it and just know exactly what's going on. As long as you know Asajj Ventress is in Clone Wars, as long as you know who she is, you know that she's Dooku's secret apprentice and stuff like that, you're going to be just fine reading Dark Disciple. As far as Ahsoka goes, as long as you know what happened with Ahsoka, which at this point I'm pretty sure, I'm hoping I'm not doing anything earth-shattering here as far as spoiler goes. I hope you have heard this somewhere before. I don't want to be the one to ruin it, but at this point I think it's common knowledge that Ahsoka leaves the Jedi Order during Clone Wars. And kind of leaves Anakin behind and goes off and does her own thing. As long as you know that, you're good. You can read Ahsoka no problem and know exactly what's going on. I don't know if you watch Rebels at all. Well, you did say either animated series. So, no, I'm assuming you're talking about Clone Wars and Rebels. No, actually, the way Ahsoka is written is you don't have to have seen any of Rebels at all to know what's going on in Ahsoka, because Ahsoka happens so far before Rebels. So if look, I've got the Canon library set up. I don't know if you can see it behind me. I've got the Canon library set up from beginning to end, like in chronological order, right? To where somebody who's never seen Star Wars, nothing, can come in here and grab the first thing off that shelf, watch it, read it, whatever, and move on. Just go to each piece, boom, 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 and get the entire story as you go, right? So Ahsoka is well before Rebels. You can read Ahsoka no problem. Now, when you go back and watch Rebels, are you going to see references to the novel? Yes. Yes, that's there. But you don't have to see the show before you read the book. So, yes, they are excellent standalone stories. Ahsoka is one of my favorite of the young adult novels, and I was pleasantly surprised by Dark Disciple, because I'm not a big prequel guy. I mean, I'm slowly coming to appreciate the prequels for what they are with all the new canon material coming out, like Dark Disciple. Dark Disciple gave me... in Clone Wars, but Dark Disciple gave me this deeper appreciation for the prequels. I'm not head over heels for the prequels yet, but some of the new canon material is slowly starting to make it more bearable and kind of, I don't want to say retconning anything, but kind of fleshing it out a little bit more. So, and that's what Dark Disciple does for the prequels for me. So, I really, really enjoyed Dark Disciple. So, I think you're in for a great read on both of those. So, which one to read first? I'm going to say Dark Disciple just because it happens chronologically before Ahsoka. So I'm a chronological kind of guy. the next part of your question, you say, my original plan was to read just the adult novels, but with Lost Stars being so favorably reviewed, my favorite so far, which it is mine also. I love Lost Stars. God, that is essential reading for any Star Wars fan. There are 5 other ones. Oh, sorry. There's 5 other ones right now. And they're little like novelettes. You can read them in like 3.5, 4 hours. And they are Smuggler's Run, which is a Han Solo story. You've got The Weapon of a Jedi, which is a Luke Skywalker story. You've got Moving Target, which is a Leia story. Before the Awakening, which is a series of 3 stories. There's a Rey story, a Finn story, and a Poe story. And then now we have Cobalt Squadron, which is a Rose and Paige story from Last Jedi, which I have not gotten to yet. I have it, but I haven't gotten to read it yet. So those, from what I've read 4 of the 5 of those so far, and so far they're all good. So go check those out. Those are actually really, really good. But really, that's about it as far as the younger age category reads go. Wasn't a real big fan of Servants of the Empire. The only reason I added those to the Canon library at all was because I had a couple viewers write in and tell me I needed them there because they were canon and they weren't bad. But personally, I didn't care for them that much. But I do have them on the shelf. But if I'm going to suggest anything to you as far as young reader goes, it's going to be those 5. And they're the books that are like the red, black, and white covers. I'll just show you here what they look like. Like, this is what they mainly look like right here. It's these novels. So you've got Smuggler's Run, which is Han Solo. So yeah, definitely check those out. And they're not real thick at all. I mean, if you hadn't figured it out. And it's an easy reading. So, but this is a really good one, by the way. But anyway, I'd check those out if I were you. So thanks for the question, Sean. I'm ecstatic to have you as a follower, man. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. And the last question for this week comes from Drew Johnson. And Drew is one of the guys I met at the premiere of Last Jedi the night we went and saw it back in December. And Drew says, "Hey man, this is Drew, who you met at the theater, sitting behind you at the Last Jedi premiere. I watched your non-spoiler review and some of your older vids and love your stuff, man. And I absolutely love the movie too. Agree with you on so many levels of what you were saying. I'm interested to hear how many times you've seen it so far. Now subscribed and looking forward to seeing more and chatting Star Wars with you. Keep up the good work." Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. It's awesome to have you as a follower. You really, like, movie theaters are the best place to meet people. I'm not kidding. Like, especially when you're there to see a Star Wars movie, obviously. I was just sitting in the theater. I was talking to the people next to me, and I heard them behind me talking about Star Wars. And I just turned around and started talking to them. And it was... Look, when Force Awakens came out, it was Kirsty's first premiere for a Star Wars movie. And I made the comment to her back then in 2015. I pointed to these random guys over at the movie theater. I was like, look, I don't know them. I don't know their names, nothing. They're here for Star Wars, which makes them brothers to me. And they're like, hell yeah, man. Yeah, we are. And they came over and introduced themselves. And I mean, that's what Star Wars does to people, man. So yeah, Drew, it was awesome meeting you. You're interested in hearing how many times I've seen it so far. I've actually seen it 11 or 12 times now. I lost count. I can't stop watching it. It's my favorite Star Wars movie to date, which I wanted so bad to say that definitively after my first viewing, but I didn't. Kirsty said it was her favorite after the first viewing, but I didn't want to jump on the bandwagon that quick. So after watching it, a half dozen times and sleeping on it, I was like, you know what? This is my favorite one. And I loved every second of it. God, I love it, man. I just do. So it was awesome meeting you guys there that night, Drew, because I found out they are also fans of like Collider Jedi Council, which I watch every week, and stuff like that. So, and it's awesome to meet people like that. So Drew, it was awesome to meet you. And thank you for being a subscriber, man. I really do appreciate it. So guys, that is all 7 questions for this week. I'm going to go ahead and sign off for the night. I've got a couple more things I got to do in the house, to get it set up now. So, and if you guys are wondering, this whole area is blank over here. Where would it be? There it is. This whole area is blank because Kirsty and I are actually going to share a studio. So I do a lot of this YouTube stuff and my Star Wars stuff. And then she does a lot of painting and drawing and stuff like that. So, she's going to have like a set of lockers that she keeps her canvases and stuff in over there. And, it's not going to be all Star Wars in the background, but she and I are sharing a a creative studio, I guess you could say. So hopefully it won't be so bare over there next time. Not that it really bothered anybody. But yeah, I got some stuff to move in. Oh, my phone went off. I don't know if you guys heard that or not. But I'm going to sign off, guys. Look, if you guys have any questions you want on a Monday mailbag or just answered in general, send them on in to StarWarsCanonLibrary@gmail.com. I'll go through them every evening when I get a chance and just kind of go through them and pick some out here and there. You can also visit the website. It is www.StarWarsCanonLibrary.com. I'm going to sit down tonight, and that sucker is going to get updated. It's been about a month since I've updated anything. It's time. It needs done. So that's getting updated tonight. And if you guys want to like us on Facebook and keep up with events and, live streams and giveaways, make sure to like us on Facebook as well. It's just the Star Wars Canon Library. If you guys like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you really like to hit that subscribe button, I sure appreciate it. And until next time, this is Brian signing off, and may the Force be with you. Hey guys, make sure to check out the website. It is www.StarWarsCanonLibrary.com. You can email us anytime with any questions for any Star Wars canon material whatsoever. It's just StarWarsCanonLibrary@gmail.com. Make sure to check out our Facebook page as well. It is Facebook.com/StarWarsCanonLibrary. If you guys like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. There's plenty more videos coming where this one came from. If you really liked it, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'd sure appreciate it.